Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we are talking about Siegfried now in the Commander rework. After playing around with battleships and Deadeye for the first couple of weeks, I'm working my way into the rest of the cruisers. Originally I tried out some Hindenburg and some Henri, and of course the Stalingrad, but now I'm working my way into the rest of the cruisers, and we're going to talk about my experiences with Siegfried now during this crazy time in the game. So build should be up on screen here in a moment. As you can tell, I have gone with the meme anti-concealment build here on Siegfried, and ironically this is the best one so far. I tried to use the secondaries for a little while to see how they still worked, and it's sad to say, but it's really not worth it. The secondaries on the Siegfried are just like the secondaries on the Shikishima now. It's such wasted potential. The ship was designed as one thing, and now it can't even build into that part of its design. Effectively, at least. Of course, you can still build into it. It's just really not worth it. Because to get a secondary build, well, on the Shikishima, it's a lot of secondary points. Commander points you have to put into secondary skills. But on the Siegfried, you don't even really have that option anymore, besides modules. And yes, they are the German 128, so they will pin 32 millimeters of armor if they hit anything. But getting them to hit something is just atrocious now, because, well, Siegfried can't even choose the new manual fire skill because it doesn't have that option, because it's a cruiser, and cruisers can't choose that skill. I'm hoping someday in the future they do add in a hybrid text set, a hybrid skill set for these ships like the Siegfried, the Alaska, the Stalingrad, and all of that, and all of those ships. Because these ships really do suffer from the lack of survivability skills that they can build into, and in Siegfried's case, the secondary skills. But anyway, before I get too much into that, what is it like now in the Commander rework with the build that I'm running on it right now? Well, it is quite good. I can't lie. It is good. But it's not what the ship was released as, not what it was marketed as. It was, of course, shown as the cruiser where you can build into the secondaries and have pretty darn decent secondaries. Like I just said, they're all 128s, and you could get them out to actually the ship's concealment range. You could get the concealment range and the secondary range down to, I think it was like 11.3 kilometers if you did the right build. And if you went for like a full secondary build, the secondary range was 11.3, 11.2, whatever it was, and the concealment range was like 12.7 or something like that. So your secondary range was pretty much your concealment range, and that is a huge advantage because you can sneak up on DDs, and likely when they spot you, they are within your secondary range. So if they get spotted, your secondaries can start tearing into them. But now, of course, with the new build, it's just all into the main battery guns. And of course, Siegfried is very unique because she quite literally has battleship caliber guns. She has 6 15-inch guns. They're Bismarck's guns, and they are quite good because unlike the Bismarck, they are quite accurate. Unlike other supercruisers, Siegfried doesn't get supercruiser dispersion. She gets cruiser dispersion on those 15-inch guns. And yes, that is a good combination if it sounds like a good combination, because they absolutely slap. And it is funny running into people who don't know what the ship is. They think it's a cruiser because they see the cruiser Dorito, but surprise, it's a cruiser with a battleship Doritos guns. So yes, it absolutely slaps. And with a main battery build, you can get the main battery reload time down to base 22.9 seconds. But wait, there's more. With the, the gunner skill? Yeah, top grade gunner. If a ship is within your standard detectability range and is spotted, you get another 8% boost to your reload time of your main battery guns. And of course, with Adrenaline Rush, you get a boost to the reload as well, the lower your health is. But getting within your concealment range, but Mountbatten, you just said that you have like a 12-kilometer concealment range. I said you could. Now, you don't have to, because screw concealment in cruisers. If you take the proper skills, your concealment range gets up to 17 kilometers. Yeah, so 17 kilometers away from a ship, if a ship is spotted and within your detection range, you get an 8% boost to your reload time. So now you can drop that reload time down to, I think it's like just under or just above 19 seconds. before Adrenaline Rush kicks in on Battleship 15-inch guns with cruiser dispersion, yes, it is as good as it sounds like it is. And again, they are quite accurate. They can absolutely slap. But of course, this does mean you will be sitting toward the rear and sniping. I mean, you'll be actually closer than most battleships because you do have to at least get a ship spotted within your 17-kilometer detection range in order for you to get that kick if you want optimum DPM. So there is that at least. You're closer than the battleships, and you'll be slapping broadside battleships, citadel, and cruisers and stuff. If you have good aim, of course. You do need good aim for this ship to really get out and get it. But it's good for that, at least. And it does have torpedoes, which, ironically, you will rarely use now unless you need to push in. They are, of course, standard German 6-kilometer torpedoes. They get knocked out of something, I don't know, sneezes on it, or just... Hans could be eating a sandwich and drop some mayonnaise on it, and then the whole torpedo tubes are just done. I don't know. It's German torpedoes. They gotta get knocked out every game, otherwise they're not really German, you know? Maneuverability-wise, if you go with the meme build that I threw up on screen, the double rudder Siegfried, you have a 6.7 second rudder shift time and a 35.2 knot top speed with a speed flag and a turning circle radius of 880 meters, which means you're pretty nimble, again, for a ship of this size, kind of like I was talking about the Puerto Rico yesterday. You do turn a bit faster than that thing. And, you know, you'll be dancing, firing your main battery guns. Your main battery guns should just be screaming the entire match, really, now, with that reload speed and with the accuracy of the Siegfried. So you will be dishing out some punishment if you can aim pretty well. So all in all, it is still good. It's still worth grinding up. I would say so. This is a Research Bureau ship, so you do have to invest a lot of time and effort to regrind the ship. You have to regrind depending upon, again, if you've got the bonus for the, every 4 months they reset the double Research Bureau point bonus for resetting a line. It's either 6 or 7 times, and again, depending upon, you know, how many other Research Bureau points you've collected from over the past however long you've been playing, because they get dished out in daily rewards. They were given out for the Hizen Dockyard event, and they may even be given out for the ZF2 event. I haven't heard that yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if they are. So if you're starting from 0, about 7 or 6 times, again, depending upon if you have the boost or not. So she's a good ship still. She is. She's not bad. She hasn't been dumped on by the Commander rework. She's just missing her old meme secondary build derpy playstyle, where you can just hold W and go for it and have those secondaries screaming. Now, of course, you can still hold W and go for it, but you don't have the secondaries backing you up. You can't build it into survivability anymore, really, beyond Superintendent. So it does kind of suck, because now you do have like 50-second fires on the thing, which is just pain in a cruiser, you know? And you can't really build it into it besides the modules to get that down. And she's just not what she once was. It's like playing a different ship, honestly, really. For me, at least, because I always played it, meme secondary build, hold W. You guys have seen the videos of me playing the Siegfried and me playing it with the other guys from T-Soft. It was a fun, memey ship you took to go out and derp around, and now it's become a mid-range sniper, or a backline sniper, honestly, if you're not worried about getting the reload boost all the time. And it's now in my, again, least favorite category, backline sniping. Just like the Shikishima. The Shikishima, I used to play it at medium to close range, yes, despite it having the Yami hole, and it worked because you had, of course, the 20-inch guns and the really good secondaries. But there's no real reason to do that anymore. In fact, you're actually punished for doing that, because a proper build on Shikishima, or most battleships now, of course, includes Deadeye. So you actually want to be outside of your concealment range now. But it is really painful to see that the Siegfried's become this. A ship that I used to enjoy just going out and derping around, having fun, getting a good laugh out of it, is now in one of my least favorite categories of playstyle. Now, of course, here, in the end of this video, this was actually one of my funner Siegfried rounds. That's why I'm showing it to you guys, because I do get to push in here at the end, because, well, I have to, of course, in order to try and win the match. And, you know, this was a really good round. One of the actually rare rounds now that just wasn't a complete walkover one way or the other. And this was a good round in Siegfried, and I got to, a little bit of that old playstyle, but of course the secondaries weren't there because I couldn't build into them. They weren't what they were, and, it's not like it was some insane secondary machine when it was pre-Commander rework, but they were pretty darn decent secondaries. Certainly much better at dealing with DDs back then than now, because with a full secondary build back then, you could, of course, ward off most DDs, or if DDs would try and come at you, they would at least pay for it. But now, of course, without building into the secondaries at all, now they can't hit the broadside of a barn, and with 6 guns, dealing with DDs isn't that great, because if RNG just says screw you, and you miss, well, you're dead, essentially. Unless the DD just doesn't have its torps ups, then, you may live a little while longer. But the guns are pretty accurate. However, as you do see in here, there are a couple of salvos where RNG just goes, nope, screw you. And I get like Bismarck dispersion out of the Siegfried's guns. And that is annoying and painful when that happens. The HE on the ship isn't that great either. I mean, if you do take the HE skill, it does, of course, bump up the damage and such, but it's definitely not an HE ship. It's definitely an AP ship. And that's another thing I like about it, too. And the armor's still the same. That hasn't changed with the Commander rework, just that you can't really build into survivability, like I mentioned already. And that does certainly hurt this ship there. But new Siegfried is still a good ship. It's just not as fun as old Siegfried in my mind. I definitely won't be playing it as much as I used to, sadly enough. Maybe if they change the skills and maybe if they buff the secondaries on the ship, I'll come back to it. But they've said that they won't... Well, again, this could change, of course, but according to the live stream they did, I think it was like 2 to 3 weeks ago, however long ago it was, they said that Siegfried has other characteristics when people asked about them buffing the base accuracy and range of the Siegfried, with that, since it couldn't build into the secondary commander skills, and that was their response, that it has other characteristics. Just like Shikishima, which I find entirely ironic because, again, the whole purpose of the Commander rework was to add more variety and more builds to ships. And just with the Shikishima and Siegfried itself, they've completely removed a build from it that you can't even viably spec into now. So that, of course, is pain. Anyway, guys, it's still a good ship. I think it's still worth grinding up if you enjoy mid to long range sniping and occasionally pushing in every now and then. So that's what I think of the Shikishima. That's another video. That's the thing of the Siegfried now, guys. Again, this may change if they change the commander skills. Who knows? They haven't released the first hotfix for the skills yet, and they haven't even announced what they are changing at all. Thursday's coming up. Tomorrow, by the time you guys should be watching this, so there should be a dev blog coming out then, and we will see what happens then. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way now to 25,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. I hope to catch you guys in the next one.